Sometimes you ask yourself, are you successful?
There is no business. And I started doing it thinking that there's good money in it. I never thought in my life I would make this kind of money, right?
Success.
Local Minnesota podcast talking about people who have become successful in their own line of work, whether they've started their own business, had a side hustle, or just been highly successful at their W-2 job. And here we are connecting people. Tune in, see who's on board today. Welcome, Jado.
Thank you.
So I know Jado. Everybody knows Jado. It's become more of like a community connector to say, oh yeah, I know Jado. It's also your Instagram handle if anybody wants to figure out who he is. But he is a famous Minnesota entrepreneur. He's dabbled in a little bit of everything. Most of us know him from back in the nightclub days, but he has continued to grow and expand in so many different areas of work. He's running his new real estate team, selling houses. I think we reconnected during COVID. We saw each other at one of those houses that had 1 million offers on it. And hey, buddy.
Yep. Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I think so many people don't know the scope of everything that you do.
Sure.
And you know a little bit about everything. So I'm really excited to kind of get into your industry. So let's start with Aqua and how that grew, because there was a time where that was the most successful nightclub consistently in downtown Minneapolis.
Correct. First of all, thank you for having me on the podcast.
Of course,
it's
of
such
course.
an honor to be on here. And I mean, this is all obviously my first real project was, Aqua. I was 23, turning 24 when I decided to.
I didn't know you were that young.
Yeah, I was pretty young, and I had help with family, obviously, and we took on a really huge risk, which is that's something that every entrepreneur has to deal with, and it we either. It would have worked out for us, or would have spent the rest of our lives paying debt, right, if it failed.
Right.
So we took, a risk at a very young age, and thankfully it worked out for us. And I mean, everything that I've been successful with, after Aqua has somehow been related to Aqua. Like I think part of my success in real estate came from my network that I've built, meeting all these athletes and, these successful people at Aqua. So I'm very grateful for that specific project. It's still works out for me till this every day. I still have, clients that call me from, I haven't spoken to in 5-6 years.
Yeah.
But, they follow me on social media. Like, hey, we see you do real estate. And I think, the success in the nightlife industry has translated to my success in real estate. People say, well, he did good there. He must be knowing what he's doing. So I think it's, in that aspect it helped as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think most people should start in the service industry.
I agree.
It's the foundation of just how to deal with people.
I agree.
Especially in stressful situations.
Yeah. Especially when they're drunk.
Especially when they're drunk, because everything seems more stressful then.
Correct.
And I don't know, it's an easy situation to get in over your head.
Exactly. I mean, they call it the service industry for a reason, right? I mean, we service people when we're selling a house, right? But the service industry itself really teaches you how to deal with people. And, kind of just preps you for the real world, right? Like, really dealing with somebody with a, 50-year-old drunk is harder than dealing with a, 5-year-old baby 5-month baby.
Yeah.
So
they're bigger.
Yeah, it is. It's, so yeah, I mean, it is definitely a great industry to start with. As young, if you want to be a bartender or server, you don't need really a lot of experience. You can make cash, it's something good to do on the side.
Yeah.
Right? So.
And it's like, it's fast money, and it's a situation that, like, I feel like teaches you how to be an entrepreneur, because you can just work more, make more money.
Absolutely. I mean, there's this, meme, it's a joke on social media. Like, they say every bottle service girl at 40, she becomes a real estate agent.
It's me.
Right? So, but it's honestly like, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
If, you're young, you have the energy to work until 4 or 5 in the morning. You've learned the service industry. You know how to deal with people. I don't think why you should be. I mean, I encourage every bottle service girl to become a real estate agent.
For sure.
So.
I don't think that real estate is sales. Everyone talks about realtors being salespeople, but no, it's a service industry through and through. Absolutely. I mean, there's tactics that you can use to upsell. Yeah. But that's bottle service too.
Correct. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, the first thing we usually preach at Aqua is like upsell.
Mm-hmm.
So you want a bottle of rosé, you want a bottle of Ace of Spades. Right?
Yeah.
So.
I think so Danny, she was the girl at Aqua that
Yep.
came over and managed me.
Mhm.
She taught us like the trick. Whenever someone ordered like a vodka soda, you just reach for the top shelf and go,
Correct. Yep. Absolutely.
That's an
Absolutely.
Aqua trick.
Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Or even, when somebody orders a shot, would you like me to make that a double?
Yeah.
50% of the time, if not more, they're going to say yes. You just
Mhm.
doubled your sales.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, can't do that with houses. Would you like
No,
to?
right. I wish.
But I mean, realistically, most people are like, they see like it costs 10 grand to put a new granite countertop,
Mhm.
but that doesn't necessarily reflect in the price of the house.
Correct.
Might as well buy the nicer house.
Correct.
That's
Absolutely.
kind of the,
Yeah, it's similar.
Yeah.
I agree.
But okay. So Aqua,
Mhm.
what was your first next step? I'm assuming that you were double dipping while you were at Aqua. You probably had a couple
I
other
was.
ventures.
Yeah, I mean, when I had Aqua, well, I owned 5 nightclubs at the same time when I had Aqua. I had the Fine Line Music Cafe next door. I had the Mansion in Uptown.
Mhm.
I had the venue and the music hall.
Okay.
So those were 5 literally at the same time that I managed and I ran on a nightly basis. So that was a challenge by itself. But I mean, it was in the same industry.
Mhm.
We also owned the Minneapolis event centers where we did weddings, hosted events, corporate events. But that was more like during the day.
Yeah.
So I mean, it literally, I was a point in my life where I would wake up at like 10 a.m., go to the event center, be there all day, come home, eat, shower, go to Aqua, run the other clubs, go
Mhm.
back home and sleep. So that was the main reason I stepped out of that industry is when I had my first child, it was almost impossible to raise a kid, working 20-hour days.
Absolutely not. Yeah. I think of all of the times, I mean, like Minneapolis Super Bowl. That's the
Yeah.
only time that I worked as hard
Yeah, yeah.
in the industry as you're working,
Yeah.
as you worked for all those years. So,
Sure.
Okay.
And that
So
was a flop.
it was,
I
it
mean,
was
people
so
worked a lot.
cold.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still the most money I've ever made in the nightclub.
Yeah.
But that's because we were in a room where the capacity was, I think, 400 and Busta Rhymes was on stage.
Got it. Okay.
Like, we had a great time.
Sure. Which venue was it?
We were Rouge.
Rouge. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Gotcha.
We had Flo Rida and Busta.
Yeah.
It was great, but then I was also helping out at Bullwinkle's at the time too. So
Okay.
was
Got it.
there at 8 a.m, closing
Sure.
up Rouge.
Yeah.
Didn't even have time to go home. I just went straight to Bullwinkle's.
Sure. It was a fun weekend, but we expected a lot more money than we made.
Oh my God, I know.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be bad when Beyonce canceled her
Yeah.
flight.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
But yeah. Okay. So nightclub, first child. And that was kind of the impetus for you going and trying to look for something that was probably a similar income, but more stable hours.
Correct. And I thought, like, what's a good, transition where I don't want to invest a lot of money, but I could make a lot of money. Right.
Mhm.
And my number one motive was my network. Like, what can I do that I can utilize this network that I have without having to, open another nightclub or restaurant, take on a bigger risk and work late hours. So it just clicked real estate.
Mhm.
Right. So, and it also clicked. I had a friend of mine who played for the Timberwolves. His name was Ricky Rubio.
Oh, yeah.
And he wanted to, yeah.
So you talk about Ricky Rubio, and then I'll tell my Ricky Rubio
Okay,
story
got it.
because everybody has one.
Everyone has one. I mean,
Mhm.
he's Minnesota legend, and he was in my wedding where he flew to Lebanon.
Yeah.
He invited him to his brother's wedding in Spain. So we're very close personally outside of the business. But he came here, he was 19, he was a child, so he didn't know anybody. We became very good friends. But he had just got traded, and he wanted to list his condo.
Mhm.
And I said, just wait, let me get my real estate license.
Hang
so-
on, buddy.
Right. So I got my little listing license, and it kind of helped me motivate me to just move on quicker.
Mhm.
So my first listing in my career was Ricky's, $1.125 million condo in North Loop.
Came and knocked it out the park.
Yeah. So
First
and
agent.
it did, right? And I mean,
Uh-huh.
it really helped kind of establish, first impression is very important in this business, right? Because a lot of people don't trust you when you first start because they don't think you know what you're doing.
Mhm.
So when you hop into a business with that kind of a listing, it gives you some type of,
Oh, for sure.
like bonus points. So it really helped. And I was in a Star Tribune because of it.
Mhm.
So, and I used that marketing and I just blew it up, made myself like I'm the biggest new agent in town.
Yeah,
So-
you didn't even say new agent.
Right. Yeah, I didn't. but
Everyone was just like,
shit,
how long has he been doing this?
Right.
And we just feels like forever.
It does. Absolutely. But I mean, I'm going on my 4th year. So I haven't really been in the business that long.
Yeah.
right? So, but that's the beauty in this business. You can make yourself look like the biggest agent in town, or you
Mhm.
can make yourself look like just somebody who does it part-time.
Right.
Like the social media is just the most the cheapest, most impressive tool you can use in real estate business,
Mhm.
right? Like I said, you control in your own fingers how people look at you,
Right.
So you just gotta you gotta know what you're doing. So
It's so hard. And like realistically, like the barrier to entry to real estate, so small.
yeah, it is
Anybody can be a realtor.
absolutely.
But to be a good realtor,
Yeah,
it's not everybody that comes out with a $1.1 million listing straight out the
Correct.
park. And the listings that you've had recently, I'm assuming that it's other athletes
It
because
is.
the sport cards and
correct.
are all of those people tied back to Aqua?
Yes, all of
That's
them.
amazing.
Yeah, there's not one that came after. I mean, if you consider that Ricky introduced me to one of the players that he played with someone else,
Of course.
that's also came from Aqua, right? So
That's
yeah,
just your social network at this
Correct.
point.
correct. So yeah, they're all related back to Aqua.
Mhm. My Ricky Rubio story
Mhm.
was because I lived in Spain for a bit
Mhm.
in Barcelona.
Yep, I remember.
So he was like a famous person there too.
Yeah.
Oh, he's big on the Timberwolves. You're from Minnesota?
Yeah.
And everybody there loves Ricky Rubio.
Mhm.
And some of my friends were dining in a cafe and one of their kids threw a piece of bread and it hit Ricky Rubio in the back of the head.
No way.
And he just turns around like, what was that? And
Mhm.
everyone was like, oh, Ricky! So that was cute.
Yeah. He's such a genuine kid. Like,
Mhm.
and you can tell just meeting him for the first time. You can tell just he's a pure good person.
Yeah. He's a
So,
good guy. He's a
yeah.
nice guy.
Yeah.
He was one of the regulars back at Brothers, back
Yeah.
when Brothers was.
Yeah. He would show up his whole Spanish entourage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good kids too. I'm still talk to those guys all the time. So
Uh-huh. Do you ever visit him in Barcelona?
I was planning on going last summer. It didn't work out. So
Mhm.
hopefully next summer. I promise I have to show up.
August is like peak Barcelona.
Yeah. I represent another athlete from Spain, but he's from Real Madrid. Juancho Hernan Gomez. He was on that movie Hustle.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw it.
It's
It's a Netflix movie with Adam Sandler. It was like the #1 movie in the country for a while.
Oh, okay.
He's the main character.
I need to
right?
watch more movies.
Right? I mean, you do.
Oh, yeah.
It's on Netflix, an Adam Sandler movie. It was a really good movie.
Uh-huh.
And he's from Spain, and I also sold him a house here. Who actually have it coming on the market soon. So I have to visit him as well. So I'll
Yeah.
have to make it to Spain this summer for sure.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. Plan for August. The weather's the best. Everyone else is on vacation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think the first time I went was in August too.
That's the best time to go.
I agree.
Um,
Are you planning on going back anytime soon?
I don't know. I
You
don't
were there
know.
for a while, weren't you?
I was there for just under a year.
Okay.
And then it's been good. Every time I go to Europe, I stop there, but I have
Sure.
no immediate plans.
Yeah.
One of my good girlfriends just got engaged and she
Okay.
wants to get married in Ireland.
Okay. Got it.
So I'll probably stop by on the
Pop
way
in when
again.
you're in town. Yeah,
Mhm.
when you're in the area. Okay.
Yeah. It's so cool to have those like international relationships too.
I agree.
But,
It's honestly, it's amazing to go just see how different other countries are and
Mhm.
so many different aspects of life, not just the people, like the culture, the food, the atmosphere, the water. I think every person, if you have the capability, go just somewhere completely different and just realize what life is really about.
Mhm. And I think at least leaving it from the States, the biggest barrier is the flight.
Correct.
There's so many countries that are so affordable
Correct.
once you
Agree.
get there.
Yeah. Especially like South America, because this is not that far. You can get it for a lot cheaper.
Mhm.
But it's kind of hard if you look at where the economy is and what people can afford, and taking time off work, and because it's not just a ticket, right? So
Yeah.
there's the hotels, there's the food, there's spending. I like to go to Mexico personally for
Mhm.
like just getaways, just because it's a direct 3.5 hour flight,
Same time zone.
same time zone, correct?
Mhm.
And you go to the all inclusive hotels, and it's it's a really nice $5,000 getaway.
Yep.
Right? So
Probably for the whole family at that
correct,
price.
it is. Yeah.
Mhm.
Me, I'm talking me, my wife, and my 2 kids, including flight, hotel, everything included.
That's a great
So,
deal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
That's cheaper than Disney World.
it is. Yeah, absolutely. And there's, I'm talking about 4 days, right?
Mhm.
Not just one, that's 5,000 4-day weekend, going Friday or Thursday, come back Monday.
Yeah.
Right? Hotel, food, liquor,
And it's almost hard, like when you have so many things going with all of your different businesses, it's hard to get away for longer than that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't. I mean, even the second day I'm there, I'm itching. Like, I need to get back to work.
Yeah.
You know?
It yeah, it doesn't feel so bad if I'm at home and I have a phone call that I need to answer.
Yeah.
It feels really bad if I'm in a different country with
I
my
agree.
family and
You
I
feel
need to take a
guilty.
phone call.
Yeah.
I hate it. But who else is going to take that call?
Correct. I agree.
There's a reason they call like
Mhm.
the team lead, and it's because they need you.
Correct. Absolutely.
Wow.
Comes with more responsibilities.
It does. It does. It's different. I feel like, yeah, I almost needed to build a team.
Sure.
I was at a point in my career where I was like, this just feels like the same. I need to do something to give back. I need to expand it in a different direction. Was that kind of your motivation for building a team too?
Not really. If you want me to be completely direct and honest.
Yeah, we
the
appreciate
reason-
honesty.
Yeah. And that's what you're going to get out of me on here. I joined Realty Group. That was,
Mhm.
the current brokerage. That was the first brokerage I joined. And there was a couple of friends of mine that had a team.
Mhm.
And I approached them. I said, hey, would you be okay bringing me as a partner? Because I know a lot of people. I know I'm going to recruit a lot of people. So I don't want to just join a team. I want to join where I can, have a reason to build this team and recruit and just help you, And I've known these guys for a very long time. They came back and says, no, it's not a good idea. And I'm not a very egotistic person, but I took that to the heart. I felt, it was kind of a big, slap in the face for me, because my original proposal was very fair to them, right?
Mhm.
It wasn't like an equal share. It was more like just bring me in as a partner, smaller. I can really build your team to be twice the size it is now. And so that was my motive is, I got rejected.
I
So,
can't imagine that
yeah.
you see rejection very often.
I do, but I take it
Really?
I take it as motivation, honestly.
Mhm.
I never, beat myself down. I don't ever feel like I'm not good enough, but I do the opposite. I've really taught my brain to work in a different way. Not just take that and actually trying to do better. Right.
Mhm.
So to answer your question, that was the main reason I really wanted to build a team.
Yeah.
And then, originally it was just going to be a small team. And, some stuff happened, politics and, stuff in Minnesota that showcased a lot of racism and other issues. So I felt like, real estate is probably the most competitive industry in the world. There's a lot of agents and everybody wants every deal.
Mhm.
So the way I wanted to build my team is to make it as diverse as possible. I wanted to showcase that in the most competitive industry in the world, you can be white, Asian, Black, Christian, Muslim, Jew. We can all come together. We can all celebrate each other, support each other, and work as one.
Mhm.
So when I would interview or recruit certain agents, that's the only thing I cared about. I never asked, how many deals have you sold? Because I didn't care, because I felt like I was good enough to show them how to get deals. So
Yeah.
all I cared about the concept of family and the team. So, and I feel like I've done a good job doing that. We have the best agents in town, not in volume, but in character, I believe.
Well, maybe
Some-
second best. Maybe
Yeah,
tied.
let's
We'll
call it-
tie.
let's call it- yeah,
We'll
let's call
tie.
it
We'll
even.
tie.
But that was my concept. Is
Yeah.
like I said, it was more about the quality of person than what they do for volume.
It's a beautiful thing. And like, I think the hardest, I love how you interview that. I love how you try to find a cultural fit into what works for you.
Mhm.
I think that so many new agents just need to be given the right shot,
Correct.
and they need to be shown how to get their stride. Once they get their stride, man, they are off and running.
Correct.
And
And I tell agents, it's almost impossible to make it on your own as a new agent, right? You just, if you don't seek help, you're just not going to learn, the business or the right way to do business, right?
yeah.
Everything you take in real estate school is to literally pass the test.
Mhm.
That's the only purpose of real estate school. They don't teach you anything you actually use in real life, right?
No.
So, and I tell these agents is, you need to join a team. It doesn't have to be mine. It has to be a team. And look at it like a 2-year plan.
Mhm.
If you're still with me on my team longer than 2 years, then I'm not doing my job right, teaching you how to. You're not going to need me after 2 years. You're not going to come give me 25, 50% of your commission when you realize you don't even call me anymore to ask me questions.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, if you want to stay with me for life, believe me, I'll take it. Right. But you're not going to feel the need to stay with me. And if you do, then I need to step on my game to teach you the business, because it shouldn't take me more than 2 years.
No.
Right. So
No, I mean, like, there's always the curveball transactions, but that's why you keep good agents around you that, hey, this crazy thing happened to me. What would you do?
I still do that. Like my mentor, her name is Jeannie Braun. She left Realty Group. Now she's a different brokerage. And I still call her, you know, and I've done hundreds and thousands of deals. But sometimes, like you said, like, what do I do here? This hasn't happened yet.
Oh, my God.
And I'm sure it's going to happen again.
Uh-huh. I think that's one of the coolest things about real estate is those complicated transactions.
Yep, correct.
I mean, you can have an easy transaction all day, and I'm thankful for them. I love them.
Yep.
But what really like gets me inspired is when someone comes to me with a really complicated like title issue, inspection issue, negotiation issue. Yeah, give me the meat.
I agree.
Yeah.
Same way.
For somebody who started like I don't have necessarily like a wealthy network. I don't have any of that. I started in the grinds with all of these like burr investors. And now my investors have come up and they've got these awesome portfolios.
Correct.
And now I'm making money. Now I'm making moves.
Yeah.
But
you had to grind for this.
Yes.
Yeah. It wasn't just handed to you.
No.
And it only gets better.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of this business. My only regret in this business, I didn't start 25 years ago.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah. Because, you know, you grow. If you're doing your job right, because nobody's ever going to refer you business if you're not doing your job right.
No.
But if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you know, year after year, they're going to keep coming and you're going to keep growing. That's the beauty of this business. And, you know, I've talked to some agents that struggled, you know, this year or last year. Their numbers went down. And I'm shocked, right? I mean, I know the market has been a little bipolar, but I've only grown every year. I've not been a year from you where I've been less, and I've been, you know, significantly growing, not by a deal or two. So, and I mean that in a humble way. So I think if you're constantly hustling and putting the work in and following up, and, you know, there's a lot of tricks that you do to grow your business. If you don't just be lazy and wait for your phone to ring, your numbers will definitely drop.
It's all about the consistency.
I agree.
It's like, and my consistency, like historically, has been like open houses and just keep going.
Yeah.
Do you do open houses?
I have 13 listings on the market currently.
Yeah.
And I give them all to my agents.
Yeah.
And again, not to sound arrogant, but I'm at a point where I don't need to hold the open houses anymore. It is, but it's a tool that I give them to motivate them, and it helps them a lot.
Yeah.
But I live and die by open houses. They're one of the biggest tools you can use.
Yes.
I actually hired a coach about a month ago that specializes in open houses to literally, because since I have the listings and I have the open houses to give them, I wanted to make sure they're executing in the right way. So I brought in a coach to exactly kind of how to prep for open house, what to do at an open house, the follow up after an open house. It's a lot of people have built the whole business on it.
Yeah.
So, and it still works.
That was definitely like one of my foundational building blocks.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Because I was so young. Like I remember the first open house that I did, I opened the door for them and the client goes, "Whoa, how old are you?" And I was like, "What?" I already got a little bit of a baby face going on. So I'm sure they thought it was like a 14-year-old holding the door for them.
Sure.
But no, and
I'm sorry.
You're good. I think like the biggest thing about business building is just get off the couch, get out there, do something.
Correct.
So if you don't know what to do, the easiest thing to do is to book an open house.
Correct.
Doesn't have to be your listing, call anybody.
Correct.
But there's a million different business builders to do before you have that book of business.
I agree. And I get so many random agents that call me, "Can I hold an open house for your listing?" And I say, I would prefer to give it to my agents, right? But like you said, there's a lot of houses out there that would see a listing and call you. And, you know, some people do cold calling, right? It's not for everybody. You need to have the right mentality or the right approach for it. But that's another tool that if you're good at it or if you don't mind doing it, it's definitely a great tool to not be lazy and do it.
Yeah. I think like there's so many things that you give new agents that are just like get off the couch things.
Yep.
Because it's so easy to let stagnation lead to more stagnation.
Absolutely.
You just got to do something.
Yeah.
And then once you find out one thing that works for you, great.
Stick to it.
Stick to it. Let's make sure that that's solid. Let's make that better if we need to.
Yep.
And then once you're closing deals from that, add the next pillar.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
You're a great coach.
I really try to be.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know, but just having this conversation with you, like the stuff that you're saying, and just I can tell, like, you have a good team for a reason.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, I have a good team because they're good people too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, correct.
be a good person and good people will follow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, speaking of a good person, so I just think it's funny because every, podcast or every conversation they ask, why did you join real estate? Right. That's always one of the main questions that I get asked, and I see other people get asked, like, why did you join real estate?
Uh-huh.
And 99.99% of the time, people say it's because I want to help people.
Yeah.
Right. And I just think that's such BS. I honestly, I didn't wake up one day and say, I want to help people. I'm going to go get my real estate license. Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a good person, that's what I'm getting to. If you're a good person, no matter what you do in our life, you want to help people. Like if you're a waitress, you probably like to help people. If you're a chef, if you're an architect, a lot of jobs require to,
Mm-hmm.
to want to help people, right? It's not just real estate. But I don't think any of these agents that say that are, they didn't just wake up and say, my goal in life moving forward is to help people. So I'm going to go get my real estate license.
Right.
The reason I joined real estate, and I guarantee you all these people join real estate, is because they want to make shitloads of money, right? So be a good person, do real estate the right way and help others, but don't say that's the reason you did it. Be honest and be straightforward.
Yeah. Be a good person and the money will follow.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I just think it's such a funny. Now I'm trying to think about why I got into real estate. So I got into it because I was told that I'd be good at it.
Okay.
And I was broke, living in Spain, rent on a credit card.
Okay.
And I was tired of it.
Sure.
And came home, took my real estate test, and then started.
Rest is history.
Yeah.
That's
But
awesome. But yeah, I mean, you did it so you can have a better life, right?
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it definitely is a better life. But I think when I started, I was very much like, now I can say this, but I was very much money motivated.
Yeah.
My sales didn't come.
Yeah.
The second I switched it to helping people, boom,
Absolutely.
money.
That's the mentality you need to have once you're in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the mentality you do it again to real estate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's probably the most honest thing I've said
Yeah,
on this
good.
podcast.
I'm glad you
I did it for the money.
Hey, I guarantee you 99.9% of licensed agents did it for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no industry in the world, right? Like even when I had Aqua, I was open total of 12 hours a week,
Mm-hmm.
like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 10 to 2, right? And so you don't have a lot of room to make money, but there's no other industry in the world
Mm-hmm.
that you make this kind of money compared to how much work you put in,
Mm-hmm.
right? I know you sometimes you spend all day doing showings and stuff, but if you look at doing a showing, writing an offer, doing the inspection and closing, and the check you get at the end of that, comparing the amount of work, there is no business. And I started doing it thinking that there's good money in it. I never thought in my life I would make this kind of money, right? And I mean, July of this year was my greatest month of my real estate career.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I don't know if I say this on, but I'm not bragging, but just to give you an idea, I made like $220K,
Yeah.
right, in just 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
People take 3 years to make that on a 9 to 5. And I'm not knocking a 9 to 5.
It'd take 3 years to make that in a nightclub.
Right. Absolutely. So, and you make that in a month. Now, again,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen often, right? But this is the business where it potentially could happen in a month.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I encourage people to actually, if you can, if you have the personality, if you have the character for it, do it. I think the issue with what we have currently is we have a lot of Netflix agents.
There's a lot of pretty people out there.
Yeah.
They got to do something.
Yeah, but I mean, the Netflix agents are the people that just go watch, Selling Sunset, and they think this is what it is and go get the license,
Mm-hmm.
right? What happens on Selling Sunset is definitely not how real estate works, unfortunately. Right?
Unfortunately.
But that's what motivates people to go get their license. And that's why, I don't know statistically, but I think only like 10% of agents stick in the market.
Over 2 years.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
but that's the reason why you have to know what you're doing. You have to have the willing to help people genuinely and not just look at the check,
Yeah.
and you need to do what needs to take to be successful.
Yeah. Realistically, the check is, once you're an actual agent, you're functioning and you're doing this full time, the check is such a little part of it.
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first year that I started making like good money,
Mhm.
I looked at my 1099 and I was like, no way.
Yeah.
And then just put it away, went on to the next deal.
Yep.
Like, if you focus on the money, it just
Absolutely.
everything gets blurry.
I agree.
But if you focus on doing a good job, you have a record-breaking month.
Yep. Absolutely.
And there you go. And like talking about that, like that month is so huge. And I don't want you to ever let go of that feeling of that success.
Thank you.
That is huge.
And thank you. I appreciate it.
That's huge.
Thank you.
Like, because there's some days that
Mhm.
don't feel like that
No,
day.
not at all. Yeah.
And you got to go to bed and you're like, but I had 1 month where I made this
Yep.
much money.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a month where I had like 4 closings that all canceled, right?
Yes.
And, this is, again, the pain in this business. And I tell my agents, never calculate the check until you get it. Like,
Mhm.
that money's not yours until it closes,
Yeah.
right? Because a lot of people, they live, closing to closing. And they're counting on that closing that's coming, and something happens, and it doesn't happen. So never, that money is not yours until after it's closed.
And then wait 48 hours
Yeah,
too, because
Yeah.
and put some aside for taxes
Yep.
and
Correct.
but yeah. So okay, this resume is so long. So now we were kind of chatting before. You also have edible arrangements,
Mhm.
and what's it like running food industry?
It's not, I mean,
Is it not food?
it is food. So
Yeah.
it's fruits, right? But it's not like you're serving steak and chicken. So, we get the stuff from, Big's Produce. We decorate it, put it, as an arrangement and send it out. So, you're not cooking. There's not like frying anything. So it's different than, normal cuisine.
So like less waste.
Very, very.
That's the thing that scares me the most about
Yeah.
getting into the restaurant business.
You don't
Food
really away.
waste.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
So, we do have some, obviously. We order plate based on our orders because we know what's coming,
Mhm.
and we get stuff daily, right? So we don't have a lot to waste.
Yeah.
It's a fun business, right? It doesn't make a lot of money. It's not something, if it was my only gig, I don't know if I can survive off of it, right?
Mhm.
But it's definitely nice little extra income. You make most of your income Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, and Christmas. The other months are, you're probably breaking even.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because it is a franchise.
Yeah.
We were speaking offline regarding on franchises. They control a lot of things that you do. You have to give them a lot of money for no specific reason. So it really cuts into your net profits.
Yeah. It does. I mean, yeah, every franchise owner that I talk to.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's my first and last franchise. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
I wish somebody talked me out of it.
Well, it's so cool. Like I saw the
Mhm.
post when you bought it.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows what edible arrangements is.
Mhm.
If anything, it's going to give you clout in establishing other businesses.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Right. So since we're being honest, today we're going to call this podcast the Honest Podcast.
Okay.
I bought edible arrangements for my wife.
Okay.
Right. She's, full-time, stay-home mom. And I figured when the kids go to school, she's not going to have a lot going on. So I got it for her to keep her busy
Mhm.
in 2021.
Yeah.
She's been there 3 times.
That's an easy job. That is an easy job.
Right. So, again, sometimes her job is 10 times harder than mine.
Stay-at-home moms?
Absolutely. So I'm not trying to take that away from her.
Uh-huh.
But that was originally my concept was I knew I'd have a lot of time to run. There's 7 of them in Minnesota, and the other 6 are owned by, females that, I just feel this is
Mhm.
more of a, kind of more female passionate business, right? Because it takes a lot to decor and it needs taste. I'm a tasteless man. I don't know, how to make anything look good, right? So, but I just thought it would be something that she enjoys and works for her. But,
Yeah. I mean, your kids are so young still.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that you're giving up on.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. Again, it's a good business, right? If I had more time to invest into the business, I think it'll do much better.
Mhm.
But so I'm not completely satisfied where it's at, but it does okay.
There's room for growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just look at his opportunity.
I agree.
And like, I just think there's so many stay-at-home moms that don't know what to do once the kids are back in school.
Correct.
So the opportunity for her to take this and kind of
Mhm.
make it hers, I
Yeah.
think that's so cool.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless if she decides she wants to do something else in the meantime.
I told her I support whatever she does.
Yeah.
At one point she wanted to do like open a spa. I said, if that's what you want to do, I'll build it, set it up for you. That's, but she, honestly, the older the kids get, the more responsibly, like every day she drives him. Yeah, she drops him off to school. She comes back, cooks, does certain things at home. Then she has to pick him up. Then they have tennis and then gymnastics and then piano, right? And I wish I had the time to take him to certain places where I'm busy all day, so I don't lays on her.
Mm-hmm.
So she's, like I said, she's even busier than me sometimes.
Yeah.
So
every single stay-at-home mom that I talk to, I'm like, what are you doing today? Assuming that they're like, well, I don't know what a stay-at-home mom does. I can assume. But then when they actually break down their schedule, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
you're busy.
Correct.
We'll catch lunch a different time.
Yeah, and you're dealing with kids.
Kids.
So I have 2 amazing daughters. I love them to death. But
they're so cute.
Yeah, thank you. But, they're not easy, to raise. They're, a lot of needs and.
Yeah. And the needs are always unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Like you might think that you're having a smooth day and then, they're sick.
Correct.
Or
they're arguing or, she's not giving me this and you have to play, judge. And,
Yeah. Or she's just sad one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
And you just got to be a dad or mom.
When are you planning on building a family?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or is it something you want to do?
So that's like, man, this is the honest podcast, Jado. This is something like I want it. I see it. Like I see my future, like kids, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at the effort that it takes to raise children.
Yeah.
So I either need to get to a point where I retire, like soon.
Sure.
And do the kid thing by myself, or like I'm not doing it alone.
Yeah, of course.
I got to find the right dude.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
finding the right partner either will make your life the greatest thing ever or the worst thing ever. Honestly, like your significant other, if it's men or women, they play a huge role in your happiness and how you do this thing called life.
Mm-hmm.
I've been blessed with my wife. She's an amazing woman in every aspect. So I've seen my friends, go down a very dark hole because of, who just choose to be their significant other. So I can only imagine.
So for
especially
those people,
if there's kids involved. Sorry to cut you off. So if there's kids involved, the parent, they're both equally important to the kids. So you want to raise a family, make sure they're both available if possible.
Available, and then parenting styles are so different. And so like when you met her, how did you know? I mean, she's obviously beautiful.
Yeah.
How did you know that
when she turned around?
She's very beautiful.
Thank you. I joke about this a lot, right? But, she's beautiful. She's a great body, in my opinion. But the most attractive thing to me, to her, was what I just said. I think she had, she looked beautiful. So, but
she's smart and she's funny and she
knew, but that was the first indication that she might be the one. I met her in August. I proposed in December and I married her in May. So I literally married her within 7 months of meeting her, right? And you know me back in the Aqua days. I used to get around, right? Like I dated a lot.
I didn't know that.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought you did.
I mean,
I thought my rep was
I
out
heard
there.
stories.
So, but like I said, when it's a true, saying in this at least, just her character, her personality, what she stood for as a woman, just her values in life, her principle in life. I just knew this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. And I'm going on 10 years of being married. And thank you. Not a single day do I regret, making that move. I mean, you argue sometime, you have your differences, but not to a point where, you doubt, making that decision.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. She's great. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I didn't know your courtship was so short.
Yeah.
That was all in.
Yeah, I agree. 7 months.
And it paid off?
Yeah, it did. I'd do it all over again.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you guys having more kids?
No, that's it. Yeah. She recently got on this semaglutide. I don't know if you've heard of it. Mm-hmm. She lost like 35 pounds.
Oh, okay.
And she's very happy with her body, so she doesn't. We've already made a decision prior to that. We're happy with 2 kids.
She's like, okay, let's do it now.
If she wanted more, I would have been okay with it. I'm okay with 2 because she's okay with 2, but she doesn't want any more. So she went with the whole, work on my body, and we have. I'm done. So my 8-year-old, we just joke about it all the time. Now she tells her mom, "Mom, you lost the only reason Dad married you."
Oh no, she didn't, did
Yeah,
she?
I mean, she did a little bit, yeah. But speaking of what I just said earlier, that's why I threw that in there. So it's just a joke that she literally, my 8-year-old is different. Like,
That is so funny that she knows that.
yeah. Oh, I mean, because we joke about it all the time, right?
Yeah.
So, but so yeah, she said that. I thought it was hilarious.
It is so funny what kids pick up on. They're
Yeah.
like, "Daddy likes mommy's butt."
Yeah, literally, that she says all the time. There's the reason he married you. Because I mean, my wife was significant, right? So that's why we joked about it all the time in a good way. It was always been great. But yeah, that's what she says. So
Yeah.
But yeah,
I highly doubt it's gone.
it's I mean, it's a lot of it has, but it's still there.
She's just such a pretty girl.
She is.
That's all I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
she's amazing in and out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is.
Thank you.
So there's no transition out of that, but
No.
let's talk about your hotels.
Yeah.
I think okay, so franchise ownership to hotels,
Mhm.
and I feel like hotels is kind of real estate, especially with the oncoming of Airbnbs and all of that. A hotel is just a step away,
Sure.
but
But
tell us about the kind of hotels you look for and why you look for that.
I will. And the reason I got into real estate, and you're definitely going to be able to relate to that, is you have investors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't preach invest in real estate if I don't,
Yeah.
right? So because I preach that all the time. People call me, where do I put my money? Put it in real estate, right?
Mhm.
And then they ask me,
Especially right now.
yeah, especially right now. So if people ask me well, what kind of investment you do?
Mhm.
I needed to have something. When I first started real estate, I hadn't invested in any real estate, right?
Mhm.
So if I wanted to buy duplexes or triplexes or fourplexes, and I have so many I have maybe 8 investors that constantly buy those for me,
Mhm.
I could ethically buy those because let's just say you're one of my investors.
Yeah.
And then you see me go and close on a fourplex, they're going to be like, well, how come you didn't send me that one?
Yeah.
Right. So I felt like my integrity will be jeopardized in this business. So I'm like, what's the next step? Either hotels or apartment complexes.
Mhm.
So I looked at both. Hotels made a lot more sense. So I bought my first one in Virginia, Minnesota. It's about 4.5, 5 hours away. And the ROI was amazing on it. I mean,
Mhm.
I couldn't believe, because the numbers looked almost too good to be true.
Yeah.
But I couldn't pass on those kind of numbers. So I went in, I'm like, maybe he faked the numbers. Something's
Were
wrong.
they?
They were.
Yeah.
Right. So they were real. The numbers were
Oh, they're real.
Yeah. Yeah. So they weren't fake.
Okay.
So, and I'm like,
Do you just have to drive that far out to get a deal? Is that
I mean, the one thing I realized, the further out you do get better deals. This specific seller had to move. He wanted to move to Florida. He's older. He was almost 80. He wanted to be around his kids. So I got a pretty good deal on it. That's why it was just for him to sell. Then my next one was in Wilmer, Minnesota. And it was kind of a similar deal. The guy, he was Indian. He used to close from January till June and moved to Chicago with his family. So the business was closed half the year. The numbers were really low. So I was able to negotiate that deal. I mean, I paid $350,000 for that hotel. And you can even get
how many
I don't want to say
units?
duplex, 31. You can even get a townhome for $350,000 these days, right?
Yeah.
And I gross about $30,000 a month in gross, right?
Wow.
So those are kind of numbers that you get with these hotels.
Yeah.
So then the next one was in Ohio. Coshocton is the only business I own outside of Minnesota now. And then I bought 2 in Thief River Falls, Minnesota.
Mhm.
And I'm currently negotiating deals in one in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and one in Fargo, North Dakota.
Okay.
The one in Fargo would be my biggest one at 121 rooms.
821?
121.
Okay.
Most of them are between 30 and 70.
I'm trying to figure out now. I'm trying to guess which one in Fargo it is.
I'll tell you, it's the Baymont.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it has a small casino. It has a bar, restaurant, and it has a little casino inside
So you
of
buy
it.
the whole thing together.
The whole thing, yeah.
What kind of regulations come with having a casino?
It just rent it to the tribe out there.
Okay.
They don't run it themselves. They just pay them monthly to run it themselves.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's easy, no stress. You just get a check.
Yeah.
No,
Hopefully
they make
no
good money
stress.
off of it, obviously, but we can't technically own it.
Yeah. I'm not going to come after your deal.
No, okay, it's okay. Even if you do, I'd still love you.
Yeah, we do a handshake on it. Sorry.
No.
But yeah, no, I definitely will contemplate looking into hotels.
Yeah.
So with the financing with that, do you still have to do the down payment or do
Yeah.
you just finance it based on income?
I put like 20% down on every deal, and I finance the rest.
Okay.
I mean, it's such a good business that it finances itself.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I think the realm of commercial is just such a
Yeah.
different world.
It is.
And I've heard of these deals where there's no down payment because the deal actually pays for itself.
Okay.
I have yet to find someone who's done it.
Yeah, me neither.
Right? It sounds made up.
Yeah, it does. I've never seen that personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a legend.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's,
It's a
when you
unicorn.
find it, let me know.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll sell it to you. Yeah, that's cool. So do you ever run into problems with hotels?
Yeah. I mean, this past weekend I had the one I bought in Ohio has like a restaurant next to it that we own, but it's been closed. It's pretty beat up. It needs work. It needs to be completely redone to be able to lease it to somebody. The whole roof just collapsed. So yeah, I know it was beat up, but it literally just, they had a huge storm. So I had sent somebody out there to,
I guess you're getting a new restaurant.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, now I have to redo the whole building. I might have to just tear the whole thing down and rebuild it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But, you get this staff walked out on shift. I don't have anybody to cover a shift. You have stuff like that. Or the cleaning crew didn't show up today.
Yeah.
Or the heat went out. It's part of the business. But, every one of these hotels have staff and a management for it. And they do a pretty good job running it for me. So, because I can't physically be there all the time.
Absolutely not.
So,
no.
Yeah. You need to have people you trust.
Yeah. So when you're looking for employees, hopefully this is just a blanket statement.
Sure.
What's the number one thing that you look for when you're hiring, like
Character.
management?
Character, experience, honesty, especially when you're not there, people can steal, right? So and those are the people that either make you or break you in this business.
Yeah.
So no matter how busy you are, if you get robbed, you're never going to make any money.
Right. The one bad hire, a lot of times you don't even see that the money's
Correct.
missing.
Yep. My motto is hire slow and fire fast.
Yeah.
So.
Hire slow, fire fast.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking of the people you fired.
I don't fire many, but I've had businesses that I've lost over a certain employee. So that was the reason I adopted that motto. It's just and that person I've given multiple, chances.
Because they were probably a friend.
Yeah, they were a very close friend. I gave them multiple chances, and then ended up costing me the whole business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing hurts more than that.
Absolutely.
Like you trust someone close to you.
Yeah. I own a construction company, and you have to have a GC, general contract license, and I held it. And he was doing stuff, behind the table that I wasn't aware of.
Like side jobs or like business actual?
I mean, he was doing stuff like calling the insurance company, acting like he's the homeowner, like stuff like that, unethical, right? And he was an independent contractor, so he wasn't really an employee of mine, but because that's how that business works. And he pissed off the wrong person, and they start watching him, and I end up losing my license over it.
Like Department of Commerce was watching?
Department of Labor.
Labor. Okay, different.
Yeah, Dolly. So, and I fought it. I said, like, how show me how I can prevent this from happening again, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you tell me this is not okay, I'm asking you humbly, like, how can I do this to prevent it from happening? If he's in his car, he's a better contractor, making these phone calls.
Yeah.
If I go hire somebody else, like, how can I make sure, because
you paid the fine on it too.
I paid the fine, and they got me for lack of supervision because I wasn't supervising him enough, right? But I'm like, how can supervise somebody like in the future?
Is there a system for reporting that? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's unfair. It's unfair because he wasn't licensed. He kept in the business for another company, right? I lost my license. He's not under jurisdiction because he's not licensed. You can sell. I am because I hold the license. So I paid the cost of somebody else's mistake, and there was nothing I can do about it. So that's why I'm saying that going through that process and how stressful it was, and still losing my company over something that somebody else did I had no control over, right? So it's just very, slippery slope.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about how you would prevent that. The only way is if you're in the office with him every day.
Yeah, correct.
And that's not what entrepreneurs
And
do.
And the Farm Labor tells you, you can't tell an independent contractor what to do. You can't tell them to work on. He can work wherever they want.
Mm-hmm.
He's not an employee. So, I mean, they're telling me I can't tell him what to do, but I still should pay for what he does.
Yeah. So then is the only way to avoid that is to hire other licensed contractors? So then what's the point of you being a GC?
Yeah. I mean, no, just you got to hire the right people,
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Really interview them, look into their background. Keep a good eye on them. That's what they told me to do. So.
Are you still doing general contractor work?
Yep.
Okay.
I made a deal with, do I take a 2-year break?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So
They just penalized me for 2 years. Yeah. So.
That's nice. At least there's like a way out.
Correct. Yep.
If something happens.
And I think, most people, they're banned for life. I think they did their investigation. They really knew that I had nothing to do with this,
Mm-hmm.
right? It was more like a slap the hand, just sit on the sideline for 2 years and you'll be good.
Yeah.
And then it make me even pay. They put a fine. If I mess up, I have to pay it. Right?
Oh, that's really
so
nice.
it wasn't like I had to pay a fine even.
Mm-hmm. So they knew whose fault it was.
Yeah, they cut me a break.
Mm-hmm.
I still believe they should have never taken my license because I didn't do anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I offered to pay a fine and keep my license, and they did the opposite. But anyways, it was a learning lesson for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was like in 2018.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
So
And so now it's roofing.
Yep.
That's what you're doing.
Yep, correct.
And it's so funny to me, like all of the business. It's funny in a very cool way. I think I'm astonished. I don't think it's funny.
Thank you. Okay.
That you've gone through all of these lines of work and now you have a roofing company here and in Denver.
Correct. Yeah, we do the same thing here in Denver. Here you can't really work in the winter. You can't be on the roof. It's too cold. It's too snowy. It's too slippery. So I figured I'd open another state that you can work around the year.
Yeah.
Because these guys, they work, May or even April to like October, and they don't do anything from October back to May again. So they spend all their money. Like the first year, no, I'm not kidding. The first year, this is where I got the idea from. This is why I did Denver.
Uh-huh.
The first year, this guy made $230K. Like I paid him because, we file our taxes. We send him the 1099. He made $230K. He called me in January. He said, "Hey, I need an advance for next year." I said, "You made $230,000. Where did you spend that money?"
Uh-huh.
Right? It was like, I was in LA. I blew it out. I know I'm going to make it again in a couple months. So I'm like, instead of letting these guys go blow their money, let me give them another avenue where if they want, they can go work and make money instead of spending it.
Yeah.
So Denver was another great city. It's Colorado. Colorado is a great state for roofing as well. And, it could be snowing today. It'll be 80 degrees the next day.
Yeah.
So you can sell and build around the year. So that's why I did Denver.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And then it's not that far.
It's not. It's 2 hours away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very like Denver or Colorado. It reminds me a lot of Minnesota outside of the mountains. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it's like it gives a very chill atmosphere. A lot of the people dress the same as they do here.
Yeah,
they have the same hobbies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Denver.
Yeah. And I have family there, so it kind of helped knowing the area and having people there.
Mm-hmm. 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 Denver. Okay. Are there any other hidden businesses that you have?
No, the service industry is in my blood. I miss it a lot. I don't think I'll ever get back into it, even though I always keep an eye on stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like when I see a club going out of business or being sold, I always try to just ask questions. But I don't think, I have the courage to move back into that business because, again, it takes a lot of time and effort.
Mm-hmm.
But I miss it. I think about it all the time.
Okay. Perfect situation for you to open up another nightclub or restaurant or event venue here.
Mm-hmm.
What would it be?
My kids moving away for college.
Okay, it's the kids. Okay.
It's definitely the kids.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of time. And let me tell you something about entrepreneurship. If you want to be successful, there's no recipe for balance. It just does not exist. I cannot tell you how to balance your life. It's just not possible, right? So if you own that many businesses and you have a family, you got to figure out day by day. Like when people ask you, when do you spend time with your kids? It all depends. Like I don't have a certain schedule, but believe me, if I have 1 free hour, I'm spending with my kids. Like, that's my life. I'm either working or hanging out with the kids. So I mean, we go as much as I can. We go on vacations. This way, I can spend the whole time with them.
Yeah.
But I don't have a lot of personal hobbies that I do currently because I do have a lot going on. I used to be able to get in the gym more often. I used to be able to go hang out with the boys or have a night of poker. Sometimes I still do that if they're asleep. But during the day, I'm either working or with them.
Yeah,
So
that's it. I think that's the funniest thing to ever ask someone who owns their own business. What do you
yeah,
do for fun?
yeah, work.
Yeah.
And it's also like a lot of time. People tell you like when is it enough? Like when are you going to be done? Right? Like if you want to really enjoy your life, it's never going to be over. Like I can never see my life, ever retiring per se. Right.
Mm-mm.
I might be able to outsource some things, give people more things that I do personally when I get to a point in my life where I feel like I can do that. But I don't think I'm ever going to stop. Right. The average age for a millionaire is 57 in the world.
Yeah.
Like most people turn millionaires when they're 57. So when we're talking about earlier about, podcast and not giving up and, being consistent, people, like KFC, the guy on, the older guy, that's how he
Colonel
looked.
Sanders?
Yeah. Yeah, because I call Sanders. Like I think he was like 55 when he started. I mean,
when he started the franchise.
Yeah, like don't give up. Like it's never going to be enough for me. I really like the luxury life. If you ask me what's success for me, it's probably coming home and to a beautiful wife and 2 kids sprinting my way, calling me daddy. To me, that's when I feel like I made it.
Yeah.
And financial freedom,
Mm-hmm.
right? And everything I'm building now is to get to that. So I already have the family, I already have the financial freedom. I just want to get to a point that's complete. I don't have to worry about it. Like it's set,
Yeah.
right? And also I want to make sure my kids are set.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I do now is for them. I'm not taking anything with me, but I want to make sure them and their kids and their kids' kids are set for life. I think that's my duty. That's my responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's so cool to see it that like you can have these goals of making this money. I've never once heard you say that you have a monetary goal because it's not what drives you.
No, absolutely. I never did, never will.
Yeah. And also, I feel really bad for any boy who dates your daughters.
I do too. I'm very close with my kids. Literally, I treat them like friends.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna be that dad. I'm just very overprotective.
Well, I mean, the overprotective is one thing, but how does someone walk into your house? Because they're gonna know Jado.
Yeah.
And,
I hope so.
And how do they walk into your house and not think like, if I was like in the same position, if you had a son or whatever, like if I walked in and I was like, oh my God, it's this guy. I'm so intimidated. Like,
I want them to be intimidated because, I want to make sure that they know, you can't mess around with that one. Right? She has somebody who's going to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Right? And that's part of being a parent. What is our job as parents is to make sure our kids are good in every aspect of life. They're protected, they're set, they're safe, they're happy. And, when there's an outsider might jeopardize that, I'm going to make sure that, you're either going to be held liable or it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, no, it's to be held accountable and all of that. But I think your girls are going to have such a strong moral compass too.
Yeah.
That they're whoever they bring home is gonna be a good person.
Yeah, I hope so. And everything starts at home, right? It's how you raise them. It's the values that you teach them. I try to lead by example. I never yell at my wife in front of them. We never even if there's something we disagree about, that's to be held and separately and private. I just want to show them a happy home and everything can be resolved with conversation. And I'm very, very close to both my kids. Like I said earlier, I don't treat them as a father, but like as friends. They're both very comfortable coming telling me everything. And I never yell at them. I'm very good at conversating with them, even if I don't tell them what they did is wrong or how to handle an issue at school. So my approach with them is very like friendly, so like my wife is just more, she yells and screams. I mean, don't get me, they'll pick her over me any day, right? But that's just her character. And I'm, so they get scared to tell her things. Opposite for me is like, no, I need to come vet to you, and they're still children.
Yeah.
Right? So I can see that translating into more and more in life.
I think there's kind of a healthy level of fear that children should have of their
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
Because then that teaches them fear of like breaking bigger rules.
Yeah.
So I
Correct.
think
Yeah, they're not scared of me.
they just hit you with the lower lip. And it's okay, baby. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. 100%.
But no, you're doing it right.
Thank you.
You are.
Thank you.
So I guess that's how you define success.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had all these questions. We didn't even get past the first one. Okay. How do you like handle the transition to so many different career paths? Are you just excited? Like someone offers you a new business plan and you're like, yeah, that works.
Yeah. I get excited about every single opportunity or project I get. I've turned down plenty, right? I'm all about the numbers. And also, am I able to, let's just say the numbers are bad. Is it something that I have the power to, better? Is it something I can modify or change or make it more successful? And I'm very realistic. I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not good at. So when I see a project come through, I'm like, okay, maybe I can make this better. This is perfect. Like the hotels. I'm like, this is too good to be true, but I'm going to try it. Right. Because even if it's off, it's still going to be somewhat good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and if it's not, you can sell it.
Yeah. Or take the L.
Yeah.
Right.
Shut it down.
The L has to always be in the alphabet. You never know.
So do you take on like business insurance for situations like that? Obviously, you have insurance for like a roof collapse.
Yep.
But
every business has insurance. Yeah.
But does that cover like if a business fails, or is that just?
No, that's on you.
Yeah.
That covers, let's just say, if an employee falls or breaks his leg, or if you get sued by a customer, if something breaks, but not fail of a business.
Yeah. I feel like things that can go wrong would be a whole nother podcast.
We got hacked one time and our system shut down and I didn't even know where to start. So yeah, I mean, anything can go wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah.
I think what like drains me more than anything is lawsuits.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's assembling the paperwork.
And it's funny. I've been sued plenty of times. Thankfully, I haven't lost any of them. I'm currently in a lawsuit.
It's exhausting.
It's just, you spend so much money on attorneys, right? And nobody wins but the attorneys.
Yes.
At the end of the day. Even if you win, you end up spending more than what you got, right? But it just, like currently, I'll even tell you, I'm not even worried about anything. I had a driver at Edible Arrangement who had a huge argument with my employee, and he called her all sorts of names. Like it was the most disrespectful you can, be to a woman. And I just couldn't tolerate it. I just couldn't tolerate having working with somebody that you okay with disrespect in that way.
That's an unsafe work environment.
Exactly. So he sued me for lawful unemployment.
Unlawful termination.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Unlawful, yeah. So now I have to fight it. I have to prove that I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So.
And there's no winner.
No.
And that's the silliest thing about America is you can sue for anything.
Yeah.
And they tell you can sue for anything.
Right.
If you go talk to a lawyer, they're going to say, yeah, you should hire me.
Yeah, absolutely. They want the money.
Yeah.
So.
To be fair, every time I've gotten in a little bit of a legal situation and I called a lawyer, oh God, it's like, it's worth its weight in gold to have a good lawyer.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. A good lawyer is everything.
Yeah. I've never gotten a real estate legal situation.
Same.
I'll be very clear about that.
Same. Yeah.
It's always the side hustles.
Correct.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So is there ever, I guess the business you would say no to would be one where just the numbers didn't make sense.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the only one.
Yep.
Okay.
Or a business I don't understand at all.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume that there's a learning curve. We had someone on that started an HVAC business. Garrett.
Yeah. I know.
Garrett.
Yeah.
And he talked about his learning curve because they didn't know anything about HVAC.
Sure.
And he was like, yeah, we all just went to HVAC school.
Yeah.
Now we do it.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's 2 years of investment.
Correct.
So.
Yeah. Or if you get into like the medical field, right?
Oh
like,
my God, no.
I wouldn't know, that's a longer learning curve, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, because I've been approached about like medical supplies companies, stuff like that. So I just didn't know anything about it. I didn't think I have the time or even to go ahead and learn it. So.
Yeah. Knock on my door if that happens again, because
Okay. Now I know.
I've yeah.
Okay.
But okay. What advice would you give to other entrepreneurs who are like, I want to be just like Jado?
You like what made me successful is not like a recipe for others, right? Like let's just say real estate. I think part of my success came by default because of what I've owned in the past. Not everybody owned nightclubs, not everybody had the relationship. But if you want to be successful in other things that I've done, a lot of things you might need capital for, right? But I'll tell you how to be successful in general. I mean, you got to put in the work. Nothing in life, nothing good in life comes easy. That's for sure. Like if you want to lose weight, you're going to eat really healthy. You're going to go to the gym 7 days a week. Like if you want to have money, you're going to have to really hustle and work and put the effort. Like no matter what you do in life, if there's a good result at the end, it's not going to be easy. Right. So, but this country, there's so many different opportunities. Like you either got to be lazy or, excuse my language, dumb not to be successful. Right. Those are the two things. If you're okay, if you're not those, you can be successful. And there's a lot of opportunities. There's, especially these days, there's so many people just sitting behind a laptop making millions, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's drop shipping. It's even if you're lazy, it works, right?
Mm-hmm. You got to be smart though.
You have to be, of course, and you have to put in the work. It comes down to putting the human brain, no matter what, it can get adjusted to learn anything you want it to learn, right? If you have the will to do it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So and never put too much stress on yourself. Like I have a lot of my team, Jado, I'm not doing enough. I'm not closing enough. Once you put restrictions on yourself and it just, you unmotivate yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Never put a limit. Like we're talking earlier, 57 is the average age of a millionaire. You never know when you're going to make it, but you're never going to make it if you don't put in the work. Wake up every morning. This is what you need to do. If it's open, I'm talking about real estate. If it's open houses, cold calling, if social media, believe me, if you're following those steps, you're going to be successful in this business.
Mm-hmm.
That's everybody that did it became successful, right? So if you want to work hard, you got to hustle, you got to put in the work. You can't give up. You can't be lazy, and you'll be successful.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, find what works for you and stick to it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I think like a lot of what you're saying, I'm thinking you need a mentor because I'm thinking of, we all know a bunch of people that are like, rise and grind, let's go get it.
Yep, correct.
Without a game plan.
Sure.
A mentor gives you a game plan.
Absolutely.
So.
And I get a lot of DMs, I'm not kidding, on a weekly basis. Hey, would you mentor me? Would you mentor me? And I'm like, well, I need to know about you before I answer that question. Like I want to make sure you have the attitude and the character, because I'm not going to invest in somebody that it's not going to be worth it, right?
Right.
It's not going to do either of us any favors.
Mm-hmm. Hey, will you mentor me?
Mm-hmm.
Will you mentor me, Jado?
I don't think you need a mentor. I think you're a mentor yourself.
Okay.
But I'd be honored, but you don't need me.
We'll bounce ideas back. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's huge. And like so many people are like, I want to be successful. I'm like, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to wake up at 8 a.m. to prep for your open house that you booked at 1?
Correct.
Are you going to do showings after?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many different ways for you to grind, but so many people just wake up and then they go sit at a desk and wait for it to happen for them.
Correct. I had an agent that joined my team a little bit over a year ago, and I had a meeting with them. I want to be successful. I want to make it. What do I need to do? Okay. Every time I sent her an open house, there was an excuse. Every time I sent her, hey, I have these showings. You want to take them? I'll pay you $25, $50 a showing. Oh, I can't do it. There's always excuses for that. And I'm like, I end up just, ask her to leave the team. I'm like, you're sitting here asking for, and every opportunity I give you, you haven't taken. You obviously don't want it enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're going to want it.
Yeah. I think especially in real estate, everything is an opeverything.
Yep.
Someone invites you to a networking event, go.
Yep, absolutely.
It's that get off the couch mentality.
Absolutely. And I tell my agents all the time, every time there's an event, every time there's a real producers event, I send the group message.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you might not see the purpose behind it, but believe me, go there and you'll see what happens. Connect with an agent, connect with just a random person. You might have an offer for them on a listing. Oh, I know, like stuff, the opportunity that comes out of nowhere. You just don't expect it, but you're never going to get that opportunity if you're not physically there.
Right.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Right. And you don't even know you're missing shots if you're not there.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think like networking with agents is so cool. It's so good. It's helped me grow my business a lot.
Mhm.
I think one thing that has really allowed me to expand more than anything is networking with other groups,
Sure.
like volunteering, doing investor meetups. All of that has been a big business builder. So
I agree. Absolutely.
for everyone who's trying to
Yeah.
be
Sure. Holler.
everyone who's trying to be one of us.
Sure.
What is next in your business venture?
Probably hotels. I'm
Okay.
very focused on owning as many as possible. Also, knock on wood, I haven't bought one that isn't doing well.
Mhm.
And what I implemented this concept of my hotels. So what I do is I treat them as apartments, right?
Mhm.
So I put ads in apartments.com, on Facebook Market, everywhere that people look
Huh.
for apartments. And my pitch is very simple, right? Like if you want to go rent an apartment, you need a background check, all that stuff. So mine was like no background check needed, um, uh, no application needed. You pay for first month. Here's your key for the whole month. All utilities included. We offer Wi-Fi, dish, cleaning. So let's just say somebody who wants to get an apartment
Mhm.
and they might not qualify for an apartment, right? Or they get an apartment for $1,400, then they have to pay water, electricity. Boom, they're at $2,000, right? And then they have to pay first month's, last month deposit, right? With my hotels, is you pay month up front. Let's just say it's $1,400. Here's your key. Everything's included, right?
Mhm.
Move in same day,
That's awesome.
right? So we get a lot of the long-term stays, right? And then
Huh.
I have the nightly ones. I have the one on Expedia where I can, if it's a busy weekend, I raise my prices.
Yeah.
So I get the best of both worlds, right? So that's part of the reason they've been successful as well, because I get a lot of these people that just want to live there,
Mhm.
right? So a lot of people I've found out a lot of people like to live in hotels.
Isn't that what I think that's what Elon Musk does now?
Does he? I had no idea.
One of those billionaires.
Okay.
He sold all of his assets
I'm not
and just stays in hotels now because it's nothing to maintain.
sure. Oh, yeah. It is not really like, and if we don't clean it every day, but if you need a cleaning, we'll send somebody in there. I mean, the cleaners are there.
Yeah. And trust me, you want to send a cleaner in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh my God, the stuff that we've seen.
Oh my
But,
God.
yeah.
It's
So yeah,
yeah.
I've seen some stuff, but again, that's what I want to stick to. It's
Mhm.
been working. That's something my kids can inherit, right? Like my real estate business, yeah, they can inherit my book of business, but I want something that they don't even have to worry about,
Yeah.
right? So
And a book of real estate business, it's so hard.
yeah, it doesn't always translate to business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the way you do business is probably going to be different from the way they do.
Correct.
And
Correct. But I
Yeah.
just want to give them something that it's solid. They don't necessarily have to be there,
Mhm.
So these hotels have been to me kind of something I want to do as much as possible.
yeah.
And they're easy to run. They're easy to maintain,
Hmm. So you have management on staff that
I
does
do.
the day to day.
Yeah. And I have Noah, my personal assistant. He's God given to me. Even the little stuff that I don't need to worry about, they call him, right?
That's
So,
really
and
nice.
if it's something that I need to be brought in, he calls me, says, okay, we need you to step in here. So, so he even takes a big load off my back.
Like a roof collapse.
Yeah.
God, I can't believe that happened. I mean, I
Yeah.
can,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
oh, what a headache.
Yeah.
What are your top 3 favorite restaurants here?
Top 3 is Cove is my first. It's Wayzata.
Yeah.
That's my go-to.
Do you go to the other ones or just
No, just Wayzata.
Okay.
I like the area. I like the restaurant. I've been to the one in Eden Prairie. It's just Cove is by far my favorite one.
Yeah.
Even I feel like the food tastes different.
Does it?
I think so.
Is that
yeah.
the original one?
Yeah. That was
Okay.
the first one. And usually, if we're out on the lake with the boat, we just park and get in and eat. It's kind of our spot to go to.
Yeah.
Second would be Fogo de Chao.
You're there all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
if I would go in like, we haven't seen you for a long time. It's been like 2 days.
They're like, we miss you.
Yeah, I love the food. I love the service. I know
Mhm.
everybody. And you go in and you have a full salad bar.
Yeah.
Right? And you have 14 cuts of meat for like $50.
It's really
Like,
great.
people think it's really expensive. If you look at what you get, it's not. And then you have all the extras on the table: the bread, the potatoes,
The cheese balls.
Yes, the cheese balls.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Mhm.
it's So I think Fogo will be my second. Third, I don't know. Probably Subway.
That's so funny. That's my dad's favorite.
I love Subway. If I'm at home and I'm on DoorDash, I'm going for Subway.
That is so funny.
Yeah. But for a restaurant, there's a Lebanese restaurant in St. Paul called Beirut. That's probably my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been?
I've been, but it was when I lived over there. So
Yeah. Okay. It's been a while. Yeah. So it's kind of because I love Lebanese food. Obviously, it's my cultural food, but that's my other go-to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The good solid. We won't count Subway.
No.
That's road trip food. That was, I mean, my grandma, she's like this, like very Midwestern.
Mhm.
Like she won't say like, hey, could you get me Subway?
Okay.
But she'll just be sitting on the couch and you'll know she's hungry because she'll go, I like Subway.
We're
We're like, we got to go get grandma a sandwich.
What did she get?
What? She would literally just get half of whatever you want.
Oh, really? Anything? Okay.
She doesn't care.
Open-minded.
Because I don't know if she's open-minded,
Mhm.
but I mean, probably just like a classic like turkey cheese.
Okay,
like,
got it. Gotcha.
Because if you got anything spicy, she wouldn't like it.
Okay.
It was, you had to order what she wanted.
Okay, got it.
You know,
Sure.
that Midwest.
Got it. Okay.
Can't ask for it.
Absolutely. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
Okay.
What do you get?
Italian BMT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my dad's favorite.
All right, yeah.
I'm like worried. I'm like, are you guys the same person?
Is he a Libra?
I don't know. He's June. So,
Okay. October, but yeah.
yeah, no. But yeah, because we and him, we just flipped a unit, and like my job is basically to bring lunch.
Sure.
Hey, Dad, are you hungry today? Yeah, you can get me a Subway. God, again.
It's good.
It's good. It's good. I like it, but I can't have it more than like once a week.
Really?
Oh my God, he has it every day.
Yeah, I can eat it every day.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
I argue with my wife all the time about it. Like, let me guess, you can order Subway. Yep.
Yeah, I love Subway.
Yep.
That's all right. I'm on Team Sam for that
All
one.
right, thank you.
Cool. Oh, I mean, I think we're just about at time, so I'm sure that we could sit here and talk for a couple more hours,
Absolutely.
but we got showings to do.
This went so fast.
It was so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it again. I know you're one of the top agents in town, and you know all the top agents in town. So the fact that you reached out to me is very humbling, and I appreciate it. And I'm honored to be here.
No, thank you. I'm flattered that you wanted to be here. I know you're very busy.
I was excited when you reached out. I'm gonna be honest. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm there. Give me your next opening.
Okay, it's tomorrow. We always have like last minute cancellation. So next time we have a last minute, I'll call you.
Please,
Because
I'd
you'd be a
love to
good
come back
fill
in.
in.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
I'm around.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
My pleasure.
Success.